Welcome back, everyone. Today is going to be today's video is going to be the 3-year review of the Harbor Freight greenhouse, the whatever the size of it is, 12 by 10 by 12, I think it is. Well, it's been a good greenhouse, I could say, especially for the price. But what I was worried about was the panels, and I showed in another video we had a hurricane and it blew the panels out. But I'm going to say it didn't really blow them out as much as they blew themselves out. Let me show you a panel. Here it is. Here's one. You can hear that. They're very crunchy. It's the only word I can use. Crunchy. You see? Now, they wouldn't have done that when they were new, but they basically just disintegrate. So that's how they blew out. I saved those just to be able to show this. This was a few months ago. Or a month and a half ago that this happened. So what I'm going to do today is, and let me just talk about the rest of the greenhouse. If you do my mods, which are basically the collar ties that go up there, I mean the fan, strengthening the corners with as you can see, the 4x4s. I'm not going to go into detail because you can watch the video on me doing it. But this keeps the structure. These are up against the corners, pushing outwards or holding it so they can't move. And those collar ties keep the roof sturdy. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting basically plexiglass panels in the roof and tempered glass panels in the sides. I did not get either end. I didn't get any panels for the door. This door is fine, as you can see. This door does not get, or this end doesn't get any sun. These panels I'm going to change, but probably not today. I only got glass panels that came to here. We really don't put anything at the bottom, so rather than pay the extra expense, I'm just going to I'm going to put 3/4 inch plywood in the bottom, and I'm going to cover it with aluminum, and I'm going to bend a water break on that. So I'm going to put a Z bend in the aluminum, which will keep it watertight, and it will then this will function better as well because it'll be glass panels rather than the opaqueness of this whatever, I don't even know what you'd call that. These panels, these Harbor Freight panels. Now, just to give you an idea, this greenhouse, I think I paid $5.50. It was on sale. And my son used to work for Harbor Freight, so I got a 30% discount as well. I think it was like $5.50 or $5.40, whatever it was. Now, I think the average price of this is about $8.50 now, getting it from there. But in full disclosure, so I got, these are the panels. These are the plastic panels for the roof. And there's a few here, and these are there's 12 panels that are tempered for the walls. This cost 10 times, almost 10 times what the entire greenhouse cost. All these panels were about $4,700, which I think is crazy, but that's the prices today, and I like the greenhouse. So I had Conway Glass have these made for me. I believe he cut the plastic panels. I could have cut the plastic panels, but I obviously couldn't do the tempered glass because they have to make that. Anyway, so yeah, it's a lot of money, but this will last the rest of my lifetime, I would say. And down the road, I will replace the gable ends. I'll probably just do that with just the plastic at that point, and I can cut those. I'll be able to, I can cut those. Like I said, I could have cut them but it was better just to have them do everything while they were making the glass for me. So that's what today's project is going to be. We've had warm weather now. It's November, it's the middle of November, but it's supposed to finally get cold at night, so we've got to get using this as a greenhouse and not as a storage unit like what we're doing now. So I'm going to work, that's what I'm going to work on today, is getting these roof panels in. And basically, once I get the old ones out, I still have the clips. I've got to take the clips out. I'm going to silicone them in place, and I'll probably still put the clips back in again just to hold them, but they really won't be needed because the silicone will hold it, but I'll still put the clips back in. And like I said, I'm not going to do the ends yet. I probably won't end up doing the ends until probably until the spring. If it gets too cold, it doesn't really get cold here. You know, it doesn't really get cold here, but we do get freezing overnight, and in the day it usually goes up to 40 or something like that. But I don't want the silicone to get messed up, so I probably won't do that. If we get some weather, I'll do it, but if not, that can wait, because the wall panels are not broken. But at least I have them. So, all right, let me get to it. All right, so that panel is out. Most of it was out. I had to take the clips out that were still in, so you can get a better look up here of them. The only one that's really going to be a little bit more difficult will be where the windows are, because you've got to just take that frame apart and the frame of the window to slide the panel in, but it's no big deal. And as you can see, how this stuff is just crunching apart. So you can see the clip holds it pretty well, actually, but I got to pull the clips out, and I did put silicone in there. That also helped hold it in place, but the panel itself, so the panel didn't fly out, but it just was no good. So I'm not going to take video of me installing the panel, at least not this one. Maybe I'll do the door, the window, I mean. But I'm going to take a little steel wool, just run it around on the rails, just to freshen it up, clean it up, because you get a little bit of dirt here. But I mean, it's pretty much just put a little silicone around. You got a nice rail there to hold it, and that'll be it. Drop it in, put the clips back in, and let it dry. All right, so here is a finished product with all the panels put in place. I made a mistake and I didn't count properly, and I was 2 of the large panels short, but I'm glad that I did, and I'll put a link to where I got the plastic from in case you want to get it. But I bought it from a local glass shop who ripped me off big time with the price. Same panel was about more than 3 times the cost of what I was able to buy them for. That panel right there I got for $91, and the shipping, you know, would be cheaper for a whole bunch of them rather than 2, but they packed it very well, so shipping was like $50. But it was still way cheaper. I mean, both panels were still half the price of one. So anyway, the other mistake that I made, and I knew better, but I didn't listen to myself, is this is the caulk that I always like, GE. There's actually even one better than this, but they did not have it. But this was $11 a tube. And I said, well, let me try DAP, which was $7 a tube, and it was a waste because it's just a mess. And it's supposed to be clear, and you can still see it. It's white, even though it says clear, so I'd hate to see the white. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the sides. So I'm going to start with the first panel, and I unfortunately should have done this all in plexiglass as well, but I listened, and I got tempered glass when I don't need it because, a long story, but it doesn't meet code. Well, it's a damn greenhouse, and nobody's going to be by it anyway. So anyway, I got tempered glass panels that are too short, because that's the biggest that they would do it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put plywood on the bottom, cover it with white aluminum. I'll show you how I'm going to do it, drip edge, and then the glass panels will be adhered with silicone and the clips back in again. So I'm going to do one at a time, because this way I'm not in a rush to get them done. But I'll show you how I'm going to do it. All right, and I'll give you a little close-up of how these are. So if you watch the video of me putting this together, I did put a screw in the center of these panels to keep them from being sucked out in the wind, and they held up well. But as you can see, this is very, very crunchy. So the clips need to come off as well, and I assume if you're watching this, you've probably already done one, but meaning you've put a greenhouse together, but maybe you haven't. So they just come out. I just use a pair of duckbill pliers, and you just watch out because they're very springy. So make sure you got a eye protection on, and also don't let go of it. So, all right, so those basically just come out. Take the screw out, and this panel will come out. All right, so here's the plywood. What I did was I measured down 53 1/4. The glass panel is 53. It can go up into the groove at the top, and I'm going to bend aluminum. I'm going to cover the plywood in white aluminum, so it's going to have a drip ledge there. I'm going to bend that so that goes that way, and I'm fastening it with 1 1/4 self tappers. And what I've done is I've done a pilot hole first, and then countersunk with a 1/2 inch paddle bit, which are here, as you can see. So this way the screw will not stick out and make the aluminum bump out. So. All right, so there they are, 3 on each side. That actually will stiffen up the whole frame as well. So I like that. And no, it's not pressure treated plywood, it's regular. It will outlast the life of the rest of this greenhouse, I am sure, and it will not get weather because it drains on the bottom and no water will get at it anywhere anyway. So it's perfect. All right, here's the piece cut and bent. I got a 1 inch bend on the bottom, 3/4 with a Z, so the glass will sit in there. I've got the screws. They're aluminum screws to screw this in, and I've had these for I found this picture in 1996. I replaced all the windows in this spent 6 months there. I forget how many there were, like 800 windows or 1,000 windows, whatever it was. And this was just leftover hardware from all the windows. So I thought that was pretty neat. That's me up in the lift. I'll talk about that later. But I had to stand on top of the lift because it didn't reach to make it all the way to the top, and I don't think it was OSHA approved. All right, so there's one panel. So it's with the 5 screws, and you can see I've got the Z bent in that, so the glass will be in, this will be caulked. No water will go down in there. If it does, it doesn't really matter anyway, but it won't. So now this will get silicone. It'll go up into that slot and down there. All right, so there's the silicone around. It'll go up in there, down there. It'll sit on the bottom. Got my suction cup. Pick it up. Hope it fits. All right, so there's that one installed. You'll see the little bit of silicone, but this is clear, so it'll just stay clear like that. There was one spot on this top that went into the silicone a little bit, but I don't really care because this is just a greenhouse. Not that you want it to be messy, but once everything gets in there and all this stuff, you'll never really see it anyway. But so that's basically what I'm doing, and I got the clips that are going in just to keep it pressed in. Once the silicone dries, I mean, you won't need the clips anyway, but I put them in where it needed it just to hold it tight. All right, only 11 more to go. All right, I'll show you how I'm cutting the aluminum. There's 12 of them all together, so I have to cut the rest of them. And it's much easier just to cut them instead of one at a time. So what I do is I have a piece of plywood that is, it's actually 27 inches wide, so I can see the width. And I need 27 inches. All these panels are 27 inches long with the bends. So I just go from the end, I make a mark at 27, and I just align this edge right there, clamp my thumb and palm on it, just line it up along the edge of the plywood. Take a framing square with a 2-foot side, just put it on the line. I put a knee on the 16-inch side. Push down, and it's best to use a utility knife that doesn't go in and out. Get a fixed one. That's always out, because the blade will stick out farther and it won't inadvertently stick in the material and pop the blade out when you're halfway through. And just make 3 scores. Don't go any more than 3, and don't go any less than 3. Do 3. Especially this is a little bit thicker because this has a wood grain on it. The smooth coil stock would have already broken right now. It's really that's like a vinyl coating they put on it, and it sticks a little bit, but just 3 cuts, and that's it. Just bring it down to the end like that, clamp it, line it up, let it roll to the stop. Now they do make jigs for this that sit on top of your, either on a table or on top of your brake, where it'll just slice it right off. But I've had this brake for 40 years and it works fine. I'm not going to buy one now. I got through all that time with it, without it, I mean. Just squeeze it back on itself. That pretty much breaks the aluminum. And that's it. 4 more to go. Then I'll show you bending them. All right, so these are the 27-inch long panels, and they need to be, they're 24 inches wide. That's how long a coil comes. So 1 inch needs to be taken off the side, or it needs to be ripped down to 23 inches. That's the first thing you have to do. Very difficult to do it after. You certainly can't do it with a knife. So what I do, I've already cut the first one, obviously. Rather than have to take my tape measure out and measure each time, I'll just use the 1 inch, make a mark on this side, mark on that side, put it in the brake, lock it down, score it, and when it's in the brake, you only score it 1 time. You don't have to score it 3 like when you cut it. So that's the procedure. So there's 11 more of them, and then I'll show you putting the bends on. But let me get it in here, and I'll show you how to rip it. It's pre-marked. It's best to put the good side up so you're not scratching it. Unfortunately, when you make multiple bends like we're going to do, you have to put the other side down as well. But get the lines close. I close the brake just like that, so it's holding it firmly but not tightly. Get it on the line. This one requires you to pound on it. Same knife. 1 score. Lift up. And again, usually it'll go on 1 if it doesn't have the wood grain on it. And then for the hardest part is getting, when it's only 1 inch or less, trying to get it out. Just don't leave it in there because it'll mess you up if you leave it in. You probably knock it out anyway, but just in case it would clamp down unevenly. All right, I'm going to lay out the so again, we want to bend on the bottom to come out. So that is the good side up, and it is 1 inch. So again, mark that. Same procedure as if you were going to cut it. To the line, lock it down, and bend it up. But you're not bending it up 90 degrees, you want a 45. So that's the bottom. This is where unfortunately you have to flip it upside down. And normally what I'll do, and I've got to grab it, is I put that same piece of plywood but smaller, a 3/4 inch piece of plywood up on top here, so that I can put these on and work without scratching on these. Plus it makes it more firm. So I'm going to go do it on the table just because I didn't get the plywood for that. So I'll put you back on when I show you how I'm doing it. All right, so the easiest way, again, using templates. See how this is curved from still being in that tight roll. I'm taking the 1 inch leftover, and it's 24 inches from this bend up to here for the first one. So if you use that, it's already pre-curved. You don't have to worry about trying to mash it down with your tape measure. And again, with this one too, this one isn't as critical. If you're off 1/8 of an inch on this little Z bend, it won't matter too much. But we're not off. So this is where, unfortunately, it has to go in. It has to go in with the good side down because of the bends that we're making. All right, so I bent that. I didn't put the camera on for it, but you saw how I did it before. But this is where it gets easier. At least on this brake and most brakes, the throat between the clamping and where it bends is 3/4 of an inch. And that's what we need. So you don't have to measure this one. You just have to push it in like that, clamp it down, and then bend it up. And bend it a little less than 90 degrees because you want it to be tipped back. I'll show you in a minute, but all right, so there it is. So you see it's not 90 degrees, it's back a hair closer to, it's probably 105 degrees, I suppose, if you wanted to take as flat as being 180. So that's it, and that's ready to install. And what I did to firm this up even more is I also countersunk a couple of holes here and put some 3-inch screws through here and into the inside frame of the shelf. So that really, I mean, this thing doesn't shake at all. Whereas if you look over here, let's see how that shakes. So this will not shake. There'll be very little chance of distortion, breaking glass, having these break, fly out, whatever you want. So whatever you want to call it. And that also stiffens up the bottom as well. So when this is all on, I mean, this thing is going to be, like I said, it was worth, to me, it was worth fixing for the price of it. And if you don't do it the way that I did it and do it the way that I recommend you do it, where you buy the panels, you'll actually save a lot more money than I did. All right, now for the fun part. These are a little tighter than I'd like them to be. and that's it. Just push it in and hold it for a little bit. It's a nice fit. I'll put the clips on. I just hold it for a few minutes just so it doesn't move on me. And then I'll put the clips in. Don't really need as many clips as you needed before, which is for sure. I start them at the middle. That's the most important part on these. You kind of got to look to get them even, because this is tempered glass, and you don't want to over torque the sides, otherwise you'll see a big explosion. Come on, there we go. All right, that is in. And to get these off, if you've never used them before, there's a lever, so you just squeeze the lever and off it comes, and to put it on, you just put it in place, pump it up until it stops, and you're good to go. All right, so I'm just about done. I just came back outside after getting soaked. We had a pop-up storm came with tornado warnings and everything else, and I had to stop. So I have one more on the other side, which I'll show you in a minute, but here's a finished side. The other side's, like I said, is almost done. So acrylic panels in the roof. These are tempered glass panels with plywood and aluminum on the bottom. And again, I would not necessarily do it this way. I think it would be better to have full panels. Not that you need that down there, but for the work that it takes to do that, and where I got the initial things from were much more expensive, than it was my fault for not checking. I didn't even ask, which I should have done. But I will put a link to the plastics place online that I bought it. The extra 2 panels for the roof that I missed. So anyway, you can see what it looks like. You can actually see in it, unlike the regular Harbor Freight panels. So this end still needs, both ends still need to be done. These are in great shape here because they never get the sun, and even that one, surprisingly enough, is still in pretty good shape, so I'm not going to do those yet. And again, you can see, I mean, it's very bright. I mean, look at that. I mean, you don't even know that there's any glass there. So you saw what I had to do. I strengthened the roof because that added quite a bit of extra weight there, and you can see out that side as well. So I have one more panel in the corner to go. It just literally, I mean, I literally had 5 more minutes just to even get this panel in, and it torrentially came down and the wind was blowing. There was no way I was going to do that one. Everything's still wet, so I'm going to do it in the morning, which I hate to do. I love to finish. I like things finished. I don't like to have things unfinished, but there's nothing you can do about it. So, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy with the way, you know, that it looks. You don't need to have, you know, glass all the way to the floor in these greenhouses. So there you go, though. You saw after not even 2 years, these panels do not hold up. So is the value of this greenhouse, for what did I pay, $500 for it? I would say no if you aren't going to do so. Hopefully you've watched the first video. Make sure you watch the initial video I did. I'll put a link to it in the description. All the things that I did to it to keep it strong. So this whole frame inside, if you don't do that, I don't think you'll have it very long. I know Chris had one and his is gone. He put his in the garbage. He told me when he was here last month that one is gone. It blew away. So if you do what I did do in the first video, you know, I think it's good when you tally up the amount I spent on all these new panels. You know, it's getting up there in price, but this should last. I mean, I would say, you know, this should last at least 10 or 15 years now. Got the heater for it as well. I didn't show that. I should go back in and show the heater. Got this BioGreen. It's the largest heater you can get that's still 120 volt. I didn't want to put a 240 in here. So, and it works very well. It's got a thermostat, and it comes on. It's very, you know, it's very good. So, but just expect that if you get this greenhouse, that the panels are not going to last more than 2 years. So if you're okay with that. But again, yeah. So if you have any questions on it, let me know. But as usual, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Oh, and if you stuck around till right now, I am going to put a little sneak peek of the... I got the design for the stained glass to go in the memorial area roof, and I'll just give you a little quick video of that. And it's going to take about 4 months to make, but I'm hoping for David's birthday, April 16th, that I can have it installed. So I'm going to show you this little clip now. So a little bonus clip at the end. So here we are at J&M Stained Glass, and we're gonna go see
a different band of colors wrapping through, and this is almost like sheet music swirling down over here. See that, so it'll be different things in there.
Nice. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it just won't be one splash of color. Yeah, and those rays that come out from there will be continuous from each one, so the colors will correspond, but there'll be different colors, not just yellow, but yellow, orange, red, a little green, a little purple, a little blue, and mix it up.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It is perfect.